Hey guys, welcome to DevTech Finance. In this video, we would be covering the topic corporate governance models. This video is a part of business ethics and corporate governance module, so I recommend you to watch related videos to this. Let's start with the introduction to corporate governance. Corporate governance is a set of internal controls, policy, and procedures which form the framework of a company's operations, and it's dealing with various stakeholders such as customers, management, suppliers, employees, government, etc. So, exactly, corporate governance is the rules, regulations, norms, procedures, whatever is set guiding how the company should run and what should be the framework, the basic structure of company's operation, and what all should be the roles of various stakeholders in which the dealings of business is done. So those stakeholders could be customers, management, suppliers, employees, or government. So all the rules and regulations, controls, policies, and procedures which are mentioned are guided through corporate governance, and that is called corporate governance. It is a set of it. The framework of such policies should be to uphold the principles of transparency, ethics, integrity, and honesty. So, why were this corporate governance important? Why was this corporate governance important? So, these policies and procedures, these ensures that there is disclosure of the financial statements whenever required. Ethics are maintained, so no fraudulent activities are done. Integrity and honesty is maintained in the company. So, rules and regulations that are made so that no one tends to divert from the business objective. So these were the main objective why corporate governance came into picture. Now let's see what are some of the importance. So compliance with rules and regulations, as you have already understood, it also mentions clear responsibility chart. So in any organization structure, there are various levels, the top level, the middle level, and the bottom level at which various employees work, the management works, as well as the chairman and board of directors. So what are the various responsibilities of them? So it tries to covers all the responsibility chart. So as I already mentioned, it also brings out transparency and accountability. So everyone has to follow certain rules and regulations. So any kind of unethical behavior, any kind of fraudulent activities can be catched up. And thus it is necessary that one should be obligatory or accountable towards his work. One should be responsible for whatever work he or she has done. And the transparency should be maintained in the disclosure of all the work and statements required whenever. Enhance stakeholders value. So it also focuses that all the stakeholders which are holding some kind of interest in the business, they can be already mentioned here: customers, management, suppliers, employees, or government, whoever is holding some interest in the business. So they may have invested their money in the business, or they may be involved in business in any kind of way. So their value should be increased, their business value should be increased. And then risk mitigation. It also, by mentioning the policies and procedures to be followed, it try to mitigate the risk. So if there are no rules and regulations to be followed, there are more chances that the uncertainties could occur, and that could affect the business in a very vast manner, that could ruin the business. So does it help in mitigating the risk? So this was about introduction to corporate governance. Now, after learning that what exactly corporate governance is, we could have a look at corporate governance models. So these models has been guiding the most of the corporate governance structure, and these are the more famous models which are adopted by, as you can see, the top countries, the top leading countries. So first is Anglo-American model, second is German model, third is Japanese model, and then we'll talk about our Indian model. So let's see one by one. Anglo-American model. Now this model, we can also say that it is shareholder-oriented model. Now let's see why. Shareholders' rights are recognized and they are given power to elect all the board members. So this was the first model which recognized the right of shareholders. They believed that if the shareholders who are investing money in business, they are trying to invest their money and help in business growth. So they should be given rights, they should be given power to elect the board members which are there to take the decisions. So shareholders' rights were recognized first time under this model. Board members directs the management of the company. So then the board members which are elected by shareholders, they are having the right to direct the management of the company. So management of the company are the one who takes the who monitors and controls, who looks out at the functionalities of the business, and board members tries to direct them in the objective to be accomplished. So they tend to set their targets to be completed. Thus board members are at the top level and they are directing the management of the company. Company is run by professional managers with knowledge and skill to manage business. So in Anglo-American model, we talked about shareholders' right, then board members, they direct the management of company. Now, since the board members are directing the management of company, these managers are professional ones. They are having the knowledge and skill to manage the business. So this was also first time in Anglo-American model that the managers were introduced, and they are the people with knowledge and skill to manage the business. So these people try to accomplish the objective of the business and try to bring out the collectivism in the organization, motivating the employees and aligning everyone's individual objective with the business objective. Disclosure norms are comprehensive and rules against insider trading or other fraudulent activities are tight. So under this Anglo-American model, it was made sure that all the norms, rules and regulations are set up very clearly, and any kind of fraudulent activities, any kind of insider trading, that should be not taken easily, and there should be tight regulations for that these activities that does not take place. It mentions clear responsibility chart according to organization structure. So Anglo-American model also tends to mention the chart of responsibility, the organizational structure. So as we can see over here, there were the shareholders or owners who elected the board members. Then the below board members, there are management of the company, managers. Below managers, there are employees and all. So this tries to mention the organization structure, the top level, mid level and bottom level, and what could be the responsibilities at each level. Now let's talk about German model. So this is also referred as societal model. Let's see why. So workers' rights are emphasized. Now under German model, workers' rights were emphasized, and this was the new concept which German model bring out in the picture. Here the workers' rights were recognized and that was given importance. This is why it is also called societal model, because it was more about being social. Workers are considered as one of the key stakeholders of company and hence are provided with the right to participate in management of the company. So according to German model, workers at the bottom level of the picture, they are also the key stakeholders of the company, because they are the one who is working at the bottom of pyramid to make things work and to achieve particular objectives. So why not given them rights to participate in management of the company? So here under this model, workers' rights were recognized and that was emphasized, which was that time which was not existing in other business models. It was not given so much of relevance. Now here what happened in German model, that at that time businesses were not giving so much of decision making power to the workers because they were at the bottom level working, so they were not considered enough important to take the decisions. Here under German model, this was this thing was covered and they were provided importance. Now let's see how. So shareholders here under German model, they do not entirely dictate the governance mechanism. So as we see in Anglo-American model, shareholders were given the right to elect the board members. Now here we will see that along with shareholders, workers were also given the right to elect the board of members. So this was how they were given importance in the company. They were provided the decision making capability in the company. So under German model, shareholder elected 50% of the member of supervisory board, while the other half was elected by labor union, which was representing the decision of whole workers. Supervisory board appoints and monitors the management of the company. So this was same as Anglo-American model. The board members, they tend to appoint and monitors the management of the company. Now let's see Japanese model. So what was different in Japanese model other than Anglo-American and German? Here importance of banks and financial institutions were recognized. So in Japanese model, the banks and financial institutions were given importance, which was not existing in any other business model at that time. Let's see how. So, banks and FIs, that is financial institutions, stakes were very high in business operating in Japan. So, all those companies or businesses which was operating in Japan, it was usual that the banks and FIs were holding highest share percentage or stake in the business. So, they were holding most of the number of shares of the business. Now, since they were working so closely with the management of the company and they were holding so much of stakes, it was important to give them importance in the management of the company, in the decision making of the company, and this is why Japanese model put an emphasis on banks and FIs. Shareholders and bank together appoints the board of directors and president. So in Anglo-American we see shareholders appointed board of directors, whereas in German model we see that shareholders as well as workers, they together appointed board of members. Here we will see that shareholders and banks or FIs, they together appoints the board of directors and president of the company. So also in this Japanese model, president was included in the organizational structure, which we have not talked yet. So in Japanese model, president position was included, who would serve as a mediator between BODs and management of the companies. So between board of directors and management of the company, president post was introduced to serve as a link, to serve as a mediator in between. Now let's talk about Indian model. So Indian model was formulated including combined features of all these three, which we can experience in our companies and businesses. So it combined the features of American, German as well as Japanese models. Now, financial disclosures, greater transparency, and independent scrutiny of corporate accounts was emphasized in Indian model, and this we can say that it is actually related to Anglo-American model, where the disclosure norms were tight, norms against fraudulent activities or insider trading was tight. So this is taken from their financial disclosure, greater transparency, and independent scrutiny was emphasized, so that less of the corruption and frauds happen. Indian companies, as we know, are regulated under Companies Act 1956. So this is the regulation which tries to regulate all the Indian companies so that they follow a certain policy and procedures. They tend to work in a particular way. Now, in Indian model, there was also a defined hierarchy of organizational structure. So, in previous model, we have also seen the hierarchy of organizational structure. So, this was also taken a defined hierarchy of organizational. So, it was divided as top level, mid level, and bottom level positions with different responsibility and different key areas to be handled, with different targets to be achieved, and thus how it was all collected towards a particular objective at last. So thank you for watching. This was all for this video. Do like and share my videos. Subscribe to my channel DevTech Finance. Thank you all.